Hey guys, welcome back to my Brills Books channel. My name is Jacqueline and today we're going to be focusing on how I set up my 2023 bullet journal. A couple things that I want you to keep in mind is this is my very first bullet journal that I finished. I've been journaling for about 2 years, but this is the first time I did a reading bullet journal. I used a very generic brand from Michael's Arts and Crafts Supply Store. I think it was called Art Loft for the journal. And you can see how thick she got over the course of the year with everything that I added into it. So let's dive right in. The very first thing I did was I put my name, my number of journal that I've been on, and then also the number that I started with logging. I started this journal logging with the book number 228. From books from 1 to 227, they're in other previous journals. And this journal ran from January to December of 2023. So there's a blank cover, and then the first thing is my rating system. I added all of these. And if you check back in my other video, I talk about how I rate my books. And this is the start of the reading log. I did the date, the number that I'm logging, along with the title, the author, and then if it was not a physical book, if it was an audiobook or an ebook or an ARC, I added like a little icon. And then the rating. And then if you can tell too, right here is the number of how many continued logged books I've had. I needed some more space, so what I ended up doing was taking an extra piece from the back of the journal, and I taped it in, and so it looks like this at first, and then when I filled that up and I needed just a little bit more space, I added like a quarter of a page there, all just with tape. Next is my reading goal tracker. I labeled how many books I had with the squares. I distinguished the format of the book with the color. So if it was purple, it was a physical, ebook or Kindle, it was a light pink, and then an audiobook was dark pink. And this is my favorite spread. It's the bookshelf of 2023. I labeled each book by the number that correspond with my reading log. And then down at the bottom, I put a little star rating system. If it was purple, it was a 5-star read, and then it continued on down. One thing that I do suggest is doing and filling all of this out before you start coloring, because it's so satisfying then when you're done with a book and all you have to do is highlight. Next is the book bracket. This is my favorite book throughout the month, and then it was just kind of like one of those football fantasy bracket leagues, or if you were really into like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, we did that in college where we would pick who we think the winner was. But for this one, it was my favorite books throughout the month, and then I compared them, and this year's winner was The Women by Kristen Hanna. It was a physical ARC I got this year, and it is out in February. It is absolutely amazing. I highly suggest reading that book in 2024. Next is my yearly statistics page. This is all the types and titles and categories that I won, and then I collected those throughout the month, and the totals are here too. Categories I focused on is the numbers of books, the amount of physical books I read each month, the amount of ebooks and audiobooks I read each month, number of days read, and 5-star reads. Here's my monthly rating system. All I did with this one was focus on the month and then how many stars I gave out for the month. This is another favorite spread that I have done. It's the 5-star favorites, and any type of book that I chose as a 5-star, I printed out a little picture to go in the inside. 2 more challenges here. I have my book of the month and my alphabet challenge. These 2 were both fun to add in throughout the year. And then, of course, you can see I didn't finish for my book of the month. I'm hoping to do that in 2024. The next spread that I'm going to show you is something that I was not anticipating this year. I wanted to do a little Bookstagram growth, and I started in January 2023 with 6,000 followers. And by July, I hit my end of the year goal with 15,000 followers. And then you can see I needed to add an extra page. This is not like a bragging or boasting opportunity for me. I was just shocked that certain things got picked up. But Also, it's kind of cool to see how far I've grown in just 1 year. And now these are my favorite spreads out of the whole thing. This is my books that I have shown throughout the month, and then also my stats for the month. So the stats include my total books read, audiobooks, physical, and ebook/Kindle, total pages read that month, total hours that I listened to audiobooks that month, and total days read. If there's an extra line underneath, I am going to eventually total that up as I go throughout the year. And I also named the favorite read of the month and the least favorite. I did leave one spread in here before I get to the detailed by month section. And this is a template I am not going to do into my next 2024 journal. At the beginning of the year, I thought it would be cool to do a series of books around the world where wherever the setting took place in the book is something that I would highlight on the US map. And if there was something else like in a different continent or country or even like a fantasy faraway land, I would add it here. It was very hard to manage for me. I loved the idea. It took about 2 hours to make this map. I just wish I would have had more time to work on it. And sometimes the settings weren't very precise as to where they were happening, especially if I was listening to a memoir or a biography about someone's life. They hop around a whole bunch or they travel, and then I never know where I should put the location. So this might be something that you would want to try, but for me, it just didn't work. Now I'm going to show you the monthly spreads and then what I did for each month. So each month has a little tab that I love, and then I put down the list of books that I read, and then anything special like a Kindle read or an audio read, I added a little icon to it. And then you'll see over time that I also add in the page spread that I used on Instagram if I held to it, but you'll see that I changed it up. Now, if you're interested in reading these books, I'm giving you a fair warning. The next couple pages are giving summaries, and I write the endings down so I don't forget. So just don't zoom in too closely. But the next couple of pages, I'm just going to show you, this is what I do. This is printing out the picture, cutting and gluing it in, writing the summary, and how it ended. Any extra pages are left over. And then I move on to the next month. Same type of idea. My books I read in the month are listed. And then if I used an Instagram background, I would glue it in. Same type of thing. Summaries are written down. Now I'll just show you the remaining of the month spreads. This one I read a ton that month, so I didn't have enough space to do a picture layout. Same thing in July. Somewhat same thing in August. And now I'm starting to get personally away from the picture layout and just adding some washi tape to fill in the gap. These are also some washi tape stickers that I also fill in any empty space. And that is my 2023 reading bullet journal. I hope you stay tuned. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other journal videos along with how I'm going to set up my 2024 journal. Happy reading.